Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is a special edition of Greg McDaniel and the McDaniel Real Estate Group here in Danville. Now, here is an incredible human being, my dear good friend Gina Longmire. When I say dear good friend, I truly mean dear good friend. She and I have been friends for 20 plus years. When my father and my family moved here, her mother, or actually her grandmother, was my dad's first real estate client, and she and I met through different circumstances. We'll get into that a little bit later, but not in a bad way, very, very positive way. But Gina is a master, absolute master of raising money, putting on events, getting people involved in communities. And I wanted to bring her on here right now because what she has to share and the ability she has to raise money and influence people and change lives, I had to bring her on. So Gina, without ado, my dear good friend, introduce yourself. Tell me who you are, where you're from, what you do, and what's your favorite color.
Oh, favorite color is easy. It's green because when I wear it, it makes my eyes look green. So I like that. From here in the Bay, we lived in Lafayette, and then now I'm back in Danville. And I do events, kind of got roped into events, and then fundraising kind of became my niche. And then it kind of took on a life of its own. So recently, myself and my company just took over a 36-year contract at the Blackhawk Museum. So I do all the events there, as well as about 30 golf tournaments a year and a few other nonprofits and corporate activations.
So if you guys don't know what the Blackhawk Museum is, if you're not here in the East Bay and the San Francisco Bay Area, it is a big deal. I mean, this thing is massive. I mean, they have one of the biggest car collections in the world. They have exhibits. I mean, they put on all kinds of fundraisers. It is a huge thing. So Gina got a massive, opportunity here. So Gina, when it comes to doing let's start with golf tournaments really quickly. If somebody wanted to do a golf tournament, and I want 10,000 foot, not down the weeds, how would you even start doing a golf tournament?
Well, first start is finding the date and then the location. Golf tournaments are they're kind of my specialty. I love doing them, but they book out quickly at all the clubs. Post-COVID, a lot of people turn to golf because you could be outside. It was an easy way to raise money, if you do it the right way. So golf, we have found, has taken on kind of a life of its own in the last 4 years. But first and foremost, we find the location. You find a location, always go private, because private country clubs are more of a draw, places that you can't get on. You want to sell that exclusivity. You find that country club, you lock in the date, and then you start your marketing. I like to always start with just doing sponsorships first, because that's going to cover you and it's going to kind of cushion you. We open that, and then about a month before the tournament, we open it up to foursomes.
So you make it sound so stinking simple. Let's talk about finding sponsorships. I didn't say that right. Sponsorships. Okay. Now I got my tongue out of my top of my mouth. How would you go find who would be a sponsor for a golf tournament?
It really depends. So majority of the time, the client will have people who are built into their database, or you find people that are really passionate about what you're raising money for. One of my clients, we do things for foster kids. And so there's a company out there called Fortinet that's very passionate about helping foster kids and making sure they have the right resources. So doing the research on who has a tie to that organization, who has a tie to that cause, and then targeting them. And I think I've told you this in the past, when you're soliciting those sponsors, it's kind of like dating, right? You need to woo them with that steak and lobster dinner before you can get them to come upstairs with you after dinner. So finding it's true, that's what it's about. They need to feel appreciated. So kind of doing your research, not just on what they support, but who you're going to be talking to. What is it that they like, and crafting custom proposals to make sure you get them to sign on and become a sponsor. You always have to do your research before you go into somebody cold.
So let's dive into the research really quickly. I mean, what kind of bullet points are you looking for folks when you're trying to qualify them to be a sponsor? Because there's good sponsors, there's bad sponsors. What would qualify as a good sponsor and a bad sponsor?
Well, I always say quality versus quantity. So a good sponsor is someone who obviously is spending that money, and they're coming in and they're bringing the people with them to spend that money. because it's great if you give me that sponsorship, but if you plug it in with people who are going to come out that day and not do a thing, that could be considered a bad sponsor, right? Yes, I got your money up front, but now that's going to expenses. And I have people on course who aren't participating in games. They're not buying your mulligans. They're not going to donate back. So it's nice of the sponsor to maybe give it to some of his staff, but needing to make sure that those people spend the money. And then a good sponsor is someone who comes in at that high level and brings in clients or, people within that can spend the money to help generate even more. So ideally you want someone coming in at that 35,000 range, but then on top of that, they're spending another 20,000. Yeah. 35. It's a good one. That's always our tournament sponsor, between 25 to 35, and then spending at least another 20 in that tournament, because we give you at least 12 spots for that 35.
So those are a lot of zeros.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, when they're watching and listening, they're going like, "Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire!" I'm not sure if I could find somebody like that. But where do you go, and what rock do you pick up and look underneath it to get these sponsors that will spend that type of money? Because if a real estate agent, if a local business owner, they want to listen and hire you, how would they absolutely start just having a conversation with someone around them?
You mean for sponsorship?
Yeah, sponsorship, or just getting a golf tournament, or just getting the whole ball rolling, right?
Yeah. Tech money is always big money, and there's so much tech money around here. And tech is, they kind of love bells and whistles also. So, a lot of my celebrity tournaments, tech is always one of your top spenders because they want to go out and they want to schmooze with people on course. So like I said, I do my research. So I have one coming up on the 12th, right? That foundation supports youth in camps and getting them, off the streets and into positive things like sports. It's held by they're brothers. They were both NFL players, and they're now kind of giving back to the society. So I reach out to places that I know, I know it sounds cliche, but a Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods has the money and they love to give back to this. So you find kind of it sounds again silly, but LinkedIn is always a great place to go. Just kind of doing that down the rabbit hole search on LinkedIn, finding those common connections, and then reaching out to those people. There's oh, go ahead.
I think it's one of the best parts there is going back to LinkedIn and really just kind of diving deep into those connections, because I think they're allowing video, if I'm not mistaken, at this point.
Are they?
Yeah, well, we're streaming there right now, so yes.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah. And
I
so
did
it's
not
one of
know
those
that.
things, going back, like you said, going to like Dick's Sporting Goods, going to local businesses, getting in connection with them, building that opportunity, build their reputation, and then woo them into
Exactly.
your ecosystem, so that
Give
once
them
you're like,
that steak and lobster dinner.
"Oh my God, steak and lobster," before you go upstairs.
Uh-huh.
Um, so walk me through a little bit. Once you get the investors in for an event or for a golf tournament, how do you keep them there? I'm not talking about contracts. I'm just talking about like, or do you have to like give little goodies? Do you have to do something for them, or is it just kind of like, okay, good, we're out the door?
You mean post golf? Because obviously golf is going to keep them there during the day. Just
Right,
kidding.
of course.
No, yeah. So, obviously we always give tea prizes. You check in, you give them a tea prize. With my bigger sponsors, I usually like to pair them with a celebrity because everyone loves, people become cleat chasers out of nowhere. It's hilarious. So you pair them with a celebrity, they create that relationship. You get them to dinner where you're going to announce your winners. You're going to have prizes. Here's another little saying I love to use: booze equals bucks. So making sure that I'm giving them drinks before, on course, and after.
Booze equals bucks. Okay, I am stealing that comment.
It does. Every time I drink, I think I'm a Rockefeller and I spend I have unlimited funds. And I'm like, no, I don't. But you do. You just, again, it's that wooing and that procedure of saying, I want to make sure you're having the best time out there, not only with the people in your group, but on my on-course activations, that there's something fun for everybody, and then have that little catch that'll keep them through the end of the night. Hey, you're going to be entered to win a Mercedes for the weekend. Stay here and we're pulling the winner, during our dinner time. They always want to know if they can win, so we'll be announcing winners after we do our fund and eat. So making sure that you structure that run of show to keep them engaged, especially post golf, because it's a long day out there. And so people are tired. They want to go home. It's always on a Monday. So trying to keep it short, sweet, but effective.
So it's kind of like Vegas on a golf course, but
Mhm.
legal.
Yeah. Oh,
I love that. So
and
there,
I
I
am the
mean,
best dealer. The house always wins. Just
oh,
kidding.
house always wins. You know, I've donated a few things to your events. We're not going to say what those are.
Yes, you have.
Um,
Thank you very much for your support.
Hey, my pleasure. And the last two have been phenomenal. But there was an individual that was very high ranking in a certain industry that won one of my auction items.
Mhm.
And this individual has a lot of power. And I did not know this guy at all. And I called him up on his cell phone. He's like, Greg. I'm like, hey, so and so. He's like, you're my hero. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, I won your auction item for this certain gift. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. He's like, dude, I owe you. And
Oh,
I'm like, dude, I'm just so glad you get to enjoy this gift. Just go and have a great time. And Gina, that goes back to your point. When you're out there on the golf course, there's no way to understand or know who you're going to meet, who you're going to play with. I mean, everybody, goes to the bathroom every day. Everybody puts their pants on or a skirt on or dress or whatever else every single day. And we all have wants, needs, desires, and fears. But once you give someone that something that is incredibly awesome that in their life that changes their perspective, that is the coolest thing about it. And that's what you do. You provide that opportunity for people to experience something they never had. Like, Gina, one of your last events, an individual bought the product that I provided to you as an auction item. And they said, oh my gosh, Greg, this has
that's
been
it.
a bucket list
Yeah.
for my husband and I and our friends for years. I can't believe you gave it to us. I'm like, dude, just go have fun,
Yeah.
enjoy, have a giggle, and you know what? Call me if I can help you in any other way, shape, or form. But
Oh, that's
besides
so nice
that,
of you.
well, you know what? But it's only for you. I would never give it to anybody else. Let's talk about large events really quickly.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we do you want to cover anything more on golf tournaments and how real estate agents, business owners can do that, or would you like to move on to larger events?
I mean, yeah, obviously, if you want to do it, feel free to give me a call and we can kind of talk through your vision and what you're looking to do, what you're looking to raise, kind of your concept. And then we just craft it to fit exactly what you want.
So, what's your phone number? How do they get a hold of you?
You can call me at 925-381-8076, or my email is gina@westcoasteventsgroup.com.
Very good contact numbers and information there, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive into big events. Now, describe not big events, large events. What's a large event versus a golf tournament event?
I mean, I have one on Saturday for 2,500 people, so that's a large event.
Dang.
I know it's a big one, but 2,500 is obviously large. That's one of our biggest ones. I usually do things in the realm of 400, between 4 to sometimes 600, 800. Those are kind of typical sizes. They are bigger than most. A smaller event would be like a 150 to 200.
Okay. Okay. So I experienced this. My girlfriend and I, Gina, threw an event at a shotgun club, the Martinez Shotgun Club.
CWA.
What an awesome event! I mean, we went
Thank
up
you.
there, we shot skeet, we had some steak, we had a beer. Everybody was amazing. Gina was on point. Her staff was amazing. It was honestly a fun thing to experience. So, Gina, if you could tell somebody when it comes to big events, where would you start? I mean, let's say they're not you, they don't have the connections you do. How would you start doing events?
Meaning like kicking it off.
Just anything, like how do I get the word out? Who do I talk to? How, where should I have it? I mean, how do you even break down that mentally?
I mean, well, where you have it is always kind of first and foremost, and figuring out your budget for it, because, you could expect, hey, I'm with a company of 500 people. We expect everybody to come, but then only 100 RSVP. So knowing that, hey, what is my minimums? What's my venue fee? What's my minimum? Do I have that available in case not everyone shows up, type of thing, especially if it's not a fundraising event, especially if you're just corporate and you're inviting your, staff there and your people there to enjoy, have a couple drinks, eat dinner, making sure that you know your budget well in advance and then targeting venues based on that budget. And then once you narrow down the venue, you go into kind of your food and beverage side, your catering, and then add in activations.
That sounds very detailed, but very simplistic at the exact same time. I know those that's a 10,000 foot, talking point. And when you get down to the weeds, it's a lot of hair pulling and stressing, and hair is going gray,
Well,
right?
for sure. And I mean, obviously securing your venue is going to be the easiest part. Once you get that, and then like you said, it sounds simplistic, but now you have to figure out, okay, I'm designing my invitations. I'm getting it out to people. Usually when you're coming in to do an event, you already have a set network. So you know exactly who you're targeting. So you need to market to those people. You need to get invitations in front of them, to save the dates in front of them. Then you have to go into, okay, if it is a fundraiser, I'm need to raise X amount of money, start showcasing those items. Hey, we now need to solicit for auction items. Experiences always sell, something that you can't get anywhere else, kind of like your item. Those are the things that sell the most. We found lately memorabilia doesn't. So who can I go out to craft this one of a kind experience that someone might not pay for themselves or buy for themselves? And you can bundle those things together. We just sold, this is going to sound really, really ridiculous, but we just did a fundraiser. It was in Dallas. It's for the Alzheimer's Association. And they had an AV unit that you got to, or not, I'm sorry, not AV. What's the air conditioning one?
HVAC.
That one. They had that one.
I'm like AV. I'm like,
no.
I don't think that's the right word.
They did they got this HVAC unit donated that was like, this is super random. What are we going to do? But it's hot and everyone needs air conditioning. So now you got that unit plus a year's worth of, maintenance or the warranty on it. They tied it in with something fun like, come down to the water slides, things that were cool. It sold for almost $40,000 to one person.
Seriously?
Bible. Isn't that crazy?
Holy wow. Yeah. So what you're saying is basically like this.
And knowing your audience.
I'm going to be really simplistic, so please correct me. So when you go into Costco, and I'm going to use Costco as the event, right? So Costco is the big golf tournament or big event. But then you have all the free vendors that give away stuff. Like here's a cracker, here's a taster on this, here's, try my juice. But that gets the people to keep coming around and having the conversations, and they get the sales and they want to reinvest back into your event. Is that somewhat accurate or not?
Somewhat. I mean, obviously they're winning it because they want it, or it's something that they, like you said, a bucket list they have a need for. But we know that unit isn't $40,000. So you get to write off the $30,000 or $20,000 that is above and beyond what you would actually buy it for. But you have people that'll come in and you want to just showcase and know your audience. So I'm saying Greg McDaniel's coming to my event. I know Greg loves to golf. I know you love a good brewery. You want to go out and you want to have fun. So, hey, Greg, these are items that I have. I'm going to broadcast this and send it to you hot, just donated, going up for live auction, so that what you're coming in for, and mentally you can prepare yourself. Okay, I want that. I know I'm going to bid up to this amount. And you don't even have to be there sometimes. We do that. It's called proxy bidding. So if you can't be there and you're like, I really want that, I will go up to $10,000, keep bidding for me type of thing. You need to know your audience and build packages around that audience.
So let's talk about packages and kind of how that works. I mean, so as you well know, I do a lot of real estate here in the area. A lot of real estate agents around the world are always trying to get in front of their clientele. If an agent has a budget of, so our past events, when we used to throw Cinco de Mayo parties, our budget was like, I think 10 grand for the event. And that was full in everything. We had multiple kegs, we had babysitters, we had food, we had margarita machines, we had, everything. So what kind of budget would a small business owner look at in regards to hiring you or another company like yours if you're not in the area But in your expertise, are we talking about $2, $10, $100, $100,000? Where are we at?
Again, it really just depends. I actually just hung up before we got on this from a group who they want to hire me for something, but they didn't write the consultant fee into their overall budget. So you can, at minimum, 10,000 was, that used to be a lot back in the day. Unfortunately, with everything and the price of everything going up, it's astronomical now. So, I most likely budget all in minus me, like venue, food, drinks, linens, staffing, service fees, all of those things going in for a small event. You're probably looking at about 20 to 25,000. And that's under 100 people. Like that's, 50 to 80 people. 100 people, you're probably looking at close to 35, 40.
But that's not a bad amount of money when it really comes down to it, because it's a write-off. And you sell tickets, you get other, go out there and hustle, get some other different, local businesses to participate. You sell raffles. That's a whole different thing. Talk to me about raffles.
Illegal in California.
They're illegal. We're not going to talk about those. That's a horrible conversation.
You have to actually apply for a license to do a raffle because it's considered gambling. But yeah, because you're buying in to potentially win something. So raffles are illegal, but you can do different fun things. And like I said, when you're building that ticket price out, so if I'm spending $150 on a person, for dinner, hosted bar, appetizers, I could sell my ticket for $200, and it's easy to tweak the wording. $200, cocktail hour, hosted drinks, dinner, dancing to follow. So now you're building in that $50 cushion so that, no matter what, you kind of have something a little bit over. And then during your cocktail hour, you have all your different activations. Are you doing a heads or tails game? Are you doing a 52 card draw, best of live? Are you doing a silent auction? Silent auctions nowadays really do better virtually than they do on paper. And this platform Paybe that I use is phenomenal. They do the best virtual auctions I've seen because you're text notified. Everything has a QR code. So you and I could be talking, my phone buzzes. I'm like, oh, been outbid, I'll do it again. But having those fun things in and around your cocktail hour to generate money. And you don't have to charge a lot on those. 52 cards are usually at $100, but you sell 52 of them, you're now at $5,200. And for an item that's been fully donated that you just get. Heads or tails, $50.
There's so many nuances in regards to this stuff. And I think a lot of the times business owners, they really do not know how to get eyeballs on their products. That's why they die. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't spend this amount of money. So let's say I'm a local not real estate agent, local business owner, like a restaurant, a small restaurant. And I'm not calling them out. I'm just using this as an example. Downtown Danville, one of my favorite breakfast places is called Valley Medlins. It's a hole in the wall, greasy spoons, been there forever and a day. And like any other restaurant, it was having a rough time, right?
Yeah.
So, could you throw an event like out in front and kind of help them, like get the spin wheels and kind of get people in, get the red carpet out and kind of do that kind of a thing and be a force of nature in your community?
You could. Usually what you would do with things like that is there has to be some kind of hook to get people in, right? So why are we going to Valley Medlins? What am I paying money for to go in there? Are you paying, hey, come in and you're going to get, bottomless Bloody Marys and mimosas and,
True.
free bagels or free fruit or something, because you can't ask someone to come in and pay money for a ticket without giving them something in return. It's otherwise everyone would do it. And those things are interesting because, for the city, you're going to have to get the permit to do certain stuff also. So you need to get permitting to say, hey, we're going to take over the sidewalk. We're going to be here, parking. We need to make sure that the parking's good and that no one's irritated and that the lines aren't coming outside. But what you could do if I was Valley Medlins is I'd go to the local schools. You have St. Isidore's, San Ramon, Monte Vista, and I'd say, hey, I'm going to donate a $50 gift certificate or $100 gift certificate to be put in like a date night for a year type of thing. Or, donate that with, Bloody Mary mix and some vodka and say, come see us for your hangover cure. Because if you're coming in for $50, you're going to spend more than $50, right? So now you've got them in. And and now you're making money type of thing. Little things like that to kind of get people to buy and then force them in. I bought gift certificates.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
I was going to say, yeah, I bought gift certificates, and you're always spending more than what they're donating.
Here's the thing, guys. What she just told you right there, that is the clinch pin of this show. We had about 5 more minutes, and I'll let Gina get back because I know she's got more webinars, that she has to get on with our clients. And did you hear what she said? It wasn't about anything else except for giving somebody something in return for their investment. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times we don't do that in all industries. We're just like, hey, this is my new computer. Yeah, pay me for it. But they're not like, oh, thank you for buying my new computer. It's like, thank you, get out. Instead of like, hey, thank you so much. Here's a gift card to Crate and Barrel across the street. Here's a gift card to X, Y, and Z restaurant around the corner. Go get an appetizer on us. I'm sorry. If I went and bought this computer again, right? And they're like, thank you for coming in, sir. I appreciate your time and blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, we have 3 different options for you. Would you like to go get a buy one, get one free cocktail on us? Would you get a free appetizer at this restaurant? Or would you like a gift card to this restaurant or in this store? Yeah. And you're like, that one. Yeah.
That's so true.
Is amazing. But that does a couple of things. One, you become sticky in a good way in regards to bringing the business back.
You become
Second
memorable.
off, you make relationships with the local business owners around you. And therefore, there's referral business back and forth. Like I was at my mechanic shop yesterday, and they gave me $100 discount plus another $85 discount. I'm like, no, guys, no, I'll pay for everything. And they're like, no, Greg, no, I'll give it to you. And I'm like, well, you got my business for life again. And it's a small thing. So Gina, give me your best takeaways. Give me your 3 best takeaways in regards to creating events and just getting in front of folks. And then also, again, I want you to give your information out so that folks can understand where to get a hold of you.
Well, thank you. So kind of to go with what you said about giving little things out to people. So usually with like all of my clients, or if people that come through for a tour, or if I'm just stopping around like at the chamber, chamber mixers, or going to drop things off to try and solicit business, kind of going off of what you said, I had a coffee. I think I gave you one. Did I give you the coffee mug that has the microwave cake in it?
You did, actually. That was actually really good.
Yeah, thank you. And
really
if I didn't, I'll save you one. But, something like that. And then it has my card and it says, I make planning your event a piece of cake. Call me next time. So it kind of ties it in and giving them fun little things to do. So I'm a huge proponent of that. Or like if clients come in and, as you said, they're stressing or they need something, or, I'll be like, I'll throw in a bottle of wine. I'll waive your corkage. I'll do things like that, or work with you to help get those things done, because it does stick with people. And then, everyone knows what it's like to be in the tough spot, or you think you're going to get more people or more registration and it doesn't come. And knowing that I'm your friend, as well as someone who's doing your event and fighting for you, like you said, builds those relationships and makes us a trusted source. And so, yeah, and then like if you want to get in touch with me, as Greg said, my number is 925-381-8076. And then email is gina@westcoasteventsgroup.com.
Now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you found value in this, if you want to do events for your clients as real estate agents, business owners, small business owners, entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter. If you're a big corporation and you're like, dang, this girl's got it going on, hit her up. You have her information. She did it twice in this show right now. So give her a call, shoot her an email. I'll tell you one thing. I've been to her events. I've been to multiple of her events. And it is extremely well put together.
Thank you.
There's phenomenal food. There's phenomenal drinks. The staff is professional. This is the person you want to have running an event for you, even if it's a client event. I mean, I don't know, where the conversation is going to go with you and Gina when you guys have that conversation, but just talk with her because she can do it nationally, locally, regionally. You pick what you want, have the conversation. Now, do I have anything to gain from this? Absolutely nothing. I am purely doing this because she is one of my absolute best friends and she does a phenomenal job of what she does. So get your game on. If you want to knock the socks off of your clientele, that is the woman right here to my right on my screen.
Thank you, Gregory.
You call her and you guys have fun. Go back and watch the rest of the video if you guys are just tuning in right now. She dropped some serious nuggets in regards to kind of how to throw events and your mindset and kind of how to dig into it. So go there, do that. Gina, one more time, tell them who you are, where you're from, and then we'll get out of here.
I'm Gina Longmire from Danville. And then you can, like I said, call me at 925-381-8076.
There you guys. You heard it from the master. Until next time, boom, peace.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.